Hi everybody, today we're going to be showing you how to make one of the freshest tamales de elote you will find. What we're going to start off by doing is cutting the edges of the corn husks. Now be careful not to cut the whole bottom part, we just want a bit so we can take off the leaves of the corn. So they kind of look like the supermarket's dried corn husks, but we'd rather use the fresh ones because that way we don't waste any part of the corn that we use. Now we cut about 12 corns, that way they will give us a nice amount of tamales at the end, and this is how the corn husks look. Now we're going to cut off the kernels of the corn, so be careful in this step and don't cut your fingers. So make sure to use a bowl so the kernels don't go flying all over the place. And this is the amount we have out of 12 corns. Now we're going to be using a food processor. You can use a blender if you have one, if you don't have a food processor, but we rather use a food processor because it's bigger and it gets the job done pretty quick. So we're going to be dividing this batch into two, that way we don't overcrowd the corn in the food processor. So we're just going to pulse away until it gives us a pretty nice consistency. And this is how the consistency should look like once you finish pulsing. So it's pretty milky and pretty mushy. It's a really nice consistency for our tamales. Now we're going to be using white cornmeal. What this white cornmeal does, it thickens the batter as well as stiffens the tamales once they are cooked. That way they can hold on to their shape easier than without it. Now we used about 1/4 of a bag of this cornmeal. And the consistency gets thicker once it's added. We added some salt to give the corn a bit more flavor as well as sugar to give it a bit more sweetness. This will create a really nice balance between salty and sugary. Just gonna stir away until everything's nicely dissolved in the batter. Now we're gonna start building our tamales, and these are the corn husks we cut before. And now some of these corn husks are a bit smaller than expected, but that's okay because you can use 2 of them instead of 1. That way the batter won't spill. So what you're gonna do is open the corn husk. Make sure it's really nicely opened, and then put the batter in the middle of the corn husk. Now we're just gonna wrap around the corn husk around the batter. And since this one was small, then we used another one to cover it on top. This way your pot will stay nice and clean and not dirty. So now just wrap it around like that, and it should look something like that. It's nicely insecured. Now we used a vaporizer. You can use an original pot, but what this vaporizer does is steam up the tamales. It has a little section in the bottom where we put water on it, and then we put this pan with holes on top, and that way it's gonna steam them pretty nicely. Make sure to put the tamales on before you hear it boiling. That way you don't burn the tamales or yourself. So we're just gonna line them up like this until it's nicely filled. Now I forgot to record it, but after filing them up like that, we put bags on top so the steam doesn't go on top of the tamales and they'll make them soggy. So make sure to put bags on top. Now it's time to build our tamales. So this is how they look like once they're done. They're really nice and yellow, nice and stiff, and really delicious. Now you can eat them like that, but we're going to be adding a few other ingredients. What we're adding is sour cream. You can use any kind of sour cream, but we do like sour cream on our Tamales De Elote. And after that, we're gonna be using fresh cheese. This is fresh Mexican cheese called queso fresco. You can find this in your Mexican store or in other supermarkets if they sell them. And now this is some salsa we made, and this time I am gonna put it in our channel. I recorded it before and we're gonna put this on our channel, and it's pretty easy. It's nice and roasted salsa that's really delicious with these tamales. Now these are what we have. Thank you for watching.